Hello everyone, it is Wizaldo or Wesley, and today I'm doing a video on my favorite deck of all time, OP9 Nico Robin. Now this deck came to me in a dream. I swear, I was lying in bed and I thought of it after playing a yellow Luffy, the new starter deck one, at locals, because this deck is kind of modeled after that. Now this is an EBO3 deck, so you're gonna have to wait to play it a little bit in the West, but I will talk about the replacements for the EBO3 cards as I go. There's unfortunately no replacement for Kuma in this, other than maybe the 7-cost Lin, but that is a brick, so fair warning. Anyways, I'll kind of hop through the deck list kind of early, but before I do, I want to call out that on my Twitter, I'm doing a giveaway. If you like free cards, make sure to check it out. I'm giving away a promo pack, a live action Shanks, that's the PNG tuber I use, a Perona alt art, and a Pudding alt art. So if you like free cards, check it out. My Twitter is down in the description, and if I hit 1K subs on YouTube before the end of it, I'm going to be doing an upgrade to it. I'll be giving out a second place prize as well, and maybe if we do really good with it, I'll even give out a third place prize. No promises, but I would love to give out more prizing depending on how much I grow and how many entries it actually gets. I don't want anyone to feel like they don't have a chance at winning just because there's a lot of entries, so I'm always happy to give out more prizing. Anyways, I'll do the deck list now just because I don't want to focus too much on the stuff that people don't want to see. First up is Usohachi. He's going to be the 2K, or one of the main 2Ks for the deck. It's going to let you rest a 5-cost or less, so get through those pesky boa blockers. This deck is amazing into boa and amazing into yellow, just because you have banish on your leader and you run so many ways to get rid of your opponent's life without them actually getting triggers. It's going to be so good into yellow. But Usohachi, great 2K, great way to rest your opponent's characters and get into their life. After that is this promo Zoro. This is actually a pretty expensive Zoro, fair warning. I bought them at 50 bucks for the pre-release winner, but people kind of realized these pre-release winner cards are kind of hard to get. So right now it's actually at $250. I cashed out on one of mine. I had 3 just because I ran it in my initial Nico Robin deck, but hopefully the base printing of them has gone down quite a bit. They're not necessary for the deck, but if you are ahead, they feel really good to drop and just keep your tempo and banishing your opponent's life going. Next up is Lilith. Lilith is going to be the main searcher for the deck for the mid game, where you're going to want to search out your Kikinojos, which you also run 4 of, because Lilith lets you search for triggers. Kikinojo on KO, if your opponent is at 3 or less life, you can heal a life from the top of your deck, and it also has a trigger to play itself out if your opponent is at 3 or less life. You're going to run 4 Frankie. Frankie's a 2K, and it also has a trigger, so it's searchable off of Lilith, and it's also not block 1, so it's going to be a little bit better than Beji, especially because it develops a body on board if you need it. After that is Hawkins. Hawkins has a very similar use to Kikinojo in that it is a sticky body because it has a really nice on KO. It lets you essentially trash an opponent's life if it gets KO'd. Essentially, it does just do that. I don't know why I said essentially, but it also has a nice trigger, so it's searchable off of Lilith. If you need to pitch it for your leader effect because you already have like 1 or 2 of them in hand, you can. You're gonna run 4 Baby 5. Baby 5 is another searchable 2K in the not block 1, so it's not getting rotated out, and it also has a really nice trigger to let you draw 2 cards. Nami, you're gonna run 4 of, and this Nami lets you give Arrested Dawn to your leader, so you're gonna have a bigger banish swing, and make an opponent, if they have 3 or more life, add the top card of their life to their hand. On KO, it also lets you flip a life card face up, and there's no way to have it face down in this, or face up in this deck already, so you'll always get this unless you play 2 Namis into each other. But it lets you play a 6K power or less character from your hand, so that's going to be these Nico Robins. The Kikinojo, the Hawkins are going to be your main targets, but it is an EBO3 card, so I want to call out a few characters you can put in instead of these. So mainly going to be yellow Straw Hats. This Onami is going to be really solid for giving your bigger bodies banish and making it so your opponent has to take the life and they don't get that life or trigger if you do. And then Sanji is going to be the other yellow card you might want to slot in if you're increasing the amount of Straw Hats in the deck, because the final card I have to add in is actually a purple Straw Hat in this Water 7 Luffy. This Water 7 Luffy, when combined with a few other cards, can be a really big threat for your opponent, just because it can restand itself for 2 active Dawn being returned to your Dawn deck, which isn't a bad effect when you're going for game, but you can combine that with the banish from Onami, and it can get unblockable for 1 Dawn, which is really solid as well. If you use this Kizaru, we're 100 times stronger than we were 2 years ago card, so pretty solid card that can also be used for counter. Those are just some ideas I had to put into the deck, but I'm not going to make any changes to the deck today just because I already have this deck pretty well thought out. After that is Nico Robin. Sorry to dwell on the replacement cards. if you want to play this deck now. But after that is this Nico Robin, which you're going to run 4 of. It has the trigger to play out a 3 cost or less yellow character from your hand, which is mainly just going to be the Liliths. The trigger's not all that good. You don't really ever use it, but it does let you trash an opponent's life if they're at 3 or more life. So up until your opponent is at 2 life, which is a really important time, you're going to be able to use this card. If not, you're going to want to use it for your leader effect or just for counter. After that is Kuma. Kuma is going to be a really solid way to get some of your bricks out of your hand or just cards you don't want to use, like this Nico Robin in the late game. And it's also going to let you heal one when you trash a card on play. On KO, if it's your opponent's turn, it also heals a card, so that's really solid as well. The final EBO3 card in this deck is this Nico Robin, which lets you trash a card from the top of your life and heal 2 cards. So it's basically a heal 1, but it also, if you slot anything into the top of your life intentionally with Kuma or something, not that this deck can really do it, does get rid of that. And then on KO, not really as anti-boa or anti-yellow as the other cards, it does make your opponent take a damage, so they can still technically get some triggers off, but at the point in the game when you're playing this, your opponent shouldn't have too many life left, so they should be pretty scared of this on KO as well. The final character you're going to be running is this Captain Kid. On play, you can rest it and trash up to one of your opponent's cards from the top of their life, so it's basically just a souped up version of this Nico Robin. And at the end of your turn, if your opponent has 2 or less life, it lets you draw 1 and discard 1 from your hand. This is a mandatory effect, so don't get caught forgetting to do it in person, because that could actually be really rough. And of course, we're going to be running Gum Gum Giant, the best purple event in the game, arguably. It lets you cycle out some of your bricks, like these Nico Robins and Captain Kids, maybe even a Kikunojo if you're just seeing too many, and get plus 4k power and draw 2 cards. So it's hand neutral, plus 4k power if you're using it on 10 Dan and only using 1. You're never going to fall below 10 Dan. Really solid card for just 1 Dan. Anyways, that's kind of where I'm going to leave it for this video before I hop into gameplay. If you did like the list, please give the video a like. If you want to give me feedback on what you think, maybe argue for the insertion of another card, or if I forgot some card that could replace the EBO3, let me know in the comments down below. I will say, if you want to give me feedback for the video, the comments is always the best place to do so. But on to the gameplay now. Thanks for watching if you are just here for the list. Alright, you know the first matchup I had to find was going to be into a Boa. I think Boa does want to take second in this matchup, so I'm going to take that away from them. Not that it's great for me, just because I don't get to curve out as fast. No turn 1 play or turn 2 plays here, so I'm going to mulligan. I see a turn 2 play, so that's pretty nice, and a turn 1 play. This is a great hand to have. I'll search out the Kikunojo and just pass. I'll probably play the Basil into swinging at life, maybe trash the Kiku, maybe just trash the other Basil. I think Basil is really good for this matchup just because my opponent isn't going to want to trash their life. Here they're actually replacing life. Could be a really good idea. I'll just take this. Yeah, nothing I'm gonna play here. Could actually be a really good idea for me to just swing 9 at my opponent's life and trash whatever they put in there. But for now, I think I'm actually just gonna Basil, swing 5 at life, and pitch the other Basil. This puts me at 7 next turn, so I can Kuma or just drop the Nico Robin. I probably will just end up dropping the Nico Robin because they did put the card into life. That way I can guarantee that the Gorgon sister they probably put in there doesn't come out to the board. Alright, and they do drop this EBO4 Boa, which is available in the West, so that's pretty interesting that they're running this. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm gonna counter out here. I don't know what with. I think this Nami, honestly, because I want to hang on to the Kuma, and the Nami isn't doing me too many favors. Alright, I'm gonna start with a 5k swing, just in case they have to take it, and I'll pitch a Nico Robin, honestly. The next turn I hit 10 Dan, and I'll trash their Shocky that was in life, actually. And then I'll swing a 6 at my opponent. Ramping there might not have been the best idea, but it puts my opponent really low on cards in hand. And next turn, I'll probably just drop the Kiku to build a nice board and swing really aggressively out life. They can swing at me twice. It's pretty likely that they are actually pretty sizable swings this turn. So Kuma-ing is also a decent plan as well. All right, they have this 6k Boa Hancock out, so I'll need to swing with this Nico Robin in order to KO it. If I just swing with 5k swings and they block them, then I'm pretty golden all things considered. Sorry, I didn't mean to pause there. And they probably have a ton of counter in hand here. All right, I know I can take the 6, so I'm going to take this. And that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to see in this scenario when I'm going to try and trash my opponent's life. Ooh, this Nico Robin is also pretty solid. I think Kid is probably better, but they have a really aggressive board. So Robin, I think, is the move. Let's start with the 5k swing at life. See if I can fish this blocker out early. They're going to take that. Okay. Then I'll do another 5 at life just to guarantee I get a card from them. I could also Kuma and then Kikunojo. Probably thinking about making me take one with this Boa and Kuma into Kikunojo Kinojo lets me get rid of a Nico Robin and also develop a really wide board. And they have 4 swings that they could send at me. So I'm not too certain that's the greatest idea, but that is getting rid of a few bricks from my hand. Let's try and do that. See how it goes. I'm not going to swing with Nico Robin because they just block and force me to take a life, and I need to survive this turn. All right, I think I still should be able to survive if they, as long as they swing a 6 at me first. Yeah, I can guarantee that I survive here. And then next turn, I probably go for game. I'll take no trigger. Man, that's rough. All right, that's actually really good. Nice, we see a Gum Gum Giant. All right, they keep a Boa up. I'm gonna start with a 6k swing. Hopefully they take the bait and just block it with the Boa here. All right, I'll swing another 6. Ooh, all right, I have 4 more swings. I need to get 3 through. Then this Basil probably gets blocked by the 6-cost Boa. All right, they're gonna take that. I can probably guarantee that I can go for game if I swing 7 here. They either block it with Boa and I banish the last life. All right, and then I swing an 8. And they block it with Boa, and then I swing a 11 and I win the game probably, unless they have 4k counter. Yeah, see, this deck is pretty nasty into Boa. I chose this matchup first. I am on the Eastern sim, by the way, right now. Feels really good. That was a 5-minute game, just under 5 or just over 5 minutes, sorry. But you can see it is nasty into Boa just because you're banishing so many lives with the Nico Robin and the Eustace Captain Kidd. I don't think that was a full game, just because a lot of that was just me playing kind of aggro into Boa and Boa not seeing the nuts. So I'll try and do another one into some sort of yellow deck or just Boa. And yeah, so on to the next game. All right, we're into a Bonnie. This should be a little bit harder actually than the Luffy matchup. Don't see any turn 1 plays in the opening hand. I'm gonna mulligan this. Also pretty rough. I have to pass, and if I want to ramp, I have to use the Frankie, and ramping here probably isn't a bad idea, but I do have a really nice even curve, or sorry, odd curve, so I'll probably just swing 8, either get a ton of counter from my opponent's hand, or take a life and they lose out on a trigger. Ooh, it's the Thriller Bark deck. It's kind of scary. I can drop Nami and then Nami into Nami, and I'll take this. No trigger, that's pretty rough, but I can ramp with it next turn. Ramp with both of them. Do that, attach one to lead, opponent's gonna take a life, attack, ramp, and then I will pass. And I can drop another Nami next turn so that my opponent is just forced to take all this life. They don't have anything in trash that they can play off of Hogback. They are going to banish one of my lives though. This build is kind of making rounds, it seems like. Just like the get rid of life, my opponent's not going to be able to do anything. Deck is pretty scary. I'm actually going to use the Frankie to get out of this because Hikinojo is a really good target for the Namis. And I'll take this, unfortunately. Can't really use anything with the trigger, which is rough, but I'll start with swinging into the Hogback just because my opponent can't do anything with it. Swing a 7 into it. And then I can Robin to heal a life. My opponent might be thinking about doing a 2k, 1k to get something into trash to play off of the Hogback, but it would probably be a Perona or Absalom. And they actually disconnect. That's unfortunate. It's a pretty good game. You kind of saw how it plays. I fell really low early. I think that was the worst part about it. I think they noticed I was playing around their Hogback, and if I was able to get rid of it, it would have just slowed them down so much. But yeah, I don't know if I would have won that game. Honestly, I think it was in a pretty rough spot. So you kind of understand how the game plan works. And just these 5 life leaders, it's pretty rough, but I'll try and get another game into a 4 life yellow leader. Probably gonna be Gecko or Boa. So I'll hop into that now. All right, playing into Boa once again. I couldn't find a Moria matchup, so you're gonna have to just deal with 2 Boa matchups. It is probably one of the most popular ones for this meta, although we'll be getting OP15 2 months after, I believe, EBO3, so this will be relevant for 2 months. I think this deck is definitely worth playing then. But with these 6 and 5 life leaders being meta at the same time, it might be kind of hard, although the 5 lives are a lot more manageable than the 6 lives. I definitely keep this. Pretty nice curve. I can always trash a Nico Robin if I need to. I'll play that out and grab a Kiku, turn cards to deck, and pass. Got a nice even curve going here, so I don't think I'm gonna have to ramp. Probably just Kiku, swing at life, and not trash anything, and then Robin, whatever they put into life probably here. Assuming that they put a 2k out on the field or a 2 cost, either, yeah, the Gloriosa. All right, and I think I would like to 2k out of this. I want to stay kind of healthy in the early game, just because I know Boa's going to be pretty aggressive onto my life if I let them. And I have the resources in hand to have a really good game, so I'm not too concerned about countering early. Not going to trash anything. Just get to kind of play the even curve this turn. And yeah, I do think I take a 7k swing. That's really rough. 2 Robins in hand is kind of scary, but this turn I just Robin and trash my opponent's life. I think this is a turn I'm going to want to ramp because I already have a Kiku out on board, and ramping here gets me at 9, which is enough to kind of think about Gum Gianting, and having so many bricks in hand is kind of scary. All right, and I don't want to take a life here, but if they do let this boa go, this blocker one, it guarantees that I have control of the board, so I'm going to swing, and I get a 2k. That's not half bad. We take those. I can always drop another Nico Robin or a Nami next turn if I'm not concerned about my life. Say if they swing just a 6 at me, I'm not going to be too scared. Then I can just use the Frankie I got. And even if they swing a 7, I can 2k 1k out of it and stay at 2 life. But if they swing something like an 8 at me, I probably just take and drop a Robin to heal up and leave a Don open for Gum Giant, because I'll be at 9 Don. And if I use leader effect when attacking, I'll be at 10 Don. So it's definitely something I can think about, although I don't have a ton of triggers in hand to use off of my leader ability. All right, and we probably have a 2k or a 7k swing coming at me, just because I don't know what they would use another Don for, although they might keep it up to bounce this Gloriosa back to hand. I think I'm fine with them taking this, because I get the life back and I'm in a kind of scary spot. I can always just drop another Nico Robin. Yeah, I think dropping the Robin's better here than dropping the Nami. And then I'll swing a 7 at my opponent's life. And I will not trash anything, but I'm kind of baiting them here to counter out, because they're planning to take the 7k swing from my Robin. Actually, this works fine for me. I get all the cards from their hand. Yeah, I'll take that. That works into my game plan too, because I was planning to use that extra Don for Gum Giant anyways. All right, and we Gum Giant, pitch the Nico Robin and protect my leader, and then I can protect my leader with a... Actually, that works fine for me as well. I'll use the Usohachi because I'll probably want to play the Nami this turn to get that life back into hand. I do need to think about how much Don I need to keep up in order to survive. I know I'm going to have to take a hit from the Boa Hancock, and they might have another one in hand, so I have to potentially think about how much I have to protect myself from these two. I know I have enough, so I'm fine dropping the Nami, give my leader a life, make my opponent take one, and then I'll keep a Don up and swing 7s, I think. Not going to trash anything. I could think about trashing the Kiku, but I'm not gonna. That's kind of rough to see. I would have much rather seen a trigger out of life there. All right, and then I'm going to just swing another 7. I would rather play it safe and keep the life up. All right, yeah, I kind of was expecting that. I can always trash it with this kid. All right, and I have to 2k, 1k here. And then I do have to Gum Giant this, unfortunately, but... And then I'll trash the Kiku and buff my leader. And at this point, it's just math. I swing a 7 to start at my opponent and get rid of that final life, and then I can swing some other big swings into him and I win. Yeah, you can see this is really, really nasty into Boa. It's like the strengths of the yellow Luffy leader on steroids. It's really fun. I highly recommend it if you are tired of seeing Boas at your locals. If you want to chase the Boas out, get you and some of your friends on this deck and just get them out of your locals. It is so nasty. Nico Robin just inherently strong into Boa, and these kids and these Robins and this Nami, disgusting. Anyways, I'm gonna go do the deck reflection now. If you aren't going to stay around for it, please give the video a like, subscribe. Like I said, I have that giveaway going, so hit that link in the description. But yeah, onto the deck reflection. All right, so here's that deck list one more time. I know I didn't really get to show off this Zoro. It's usually 2k and it isn't searchable. So in the deck list that uses Straw Hat Crew, it would probably be a bit better because the Sanji's going to search it. But yeah, such a fun deck. I think it is very, very flavorful. Maybe not necessarily as good as it could be in the Western format. Definitely not going to play it at Nats or anything, but I could see this potentially topping in regionals or treasure cups during the EVO 3 season, just because of the weird formatting that's going to happen with that, just because we're in 14 now with EVO 4 or half of it, and then we're going to get EVO 3. But it's really, really fun. I highly recommend checking it out. Let me know in the description. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd make any changes. If you play it and you like it, let me know. If you want to change anything after you play it, let me know. But yeah, I had a total blast playing this deck. You can see that it's a pretty well thought out deck list. This Zoro could definitely be caught cut out. But yeah, I also have another Robin list I'm working on. I'm not going to show it yet because it's really fun. It builds on the old OTK combo that Robin used to run, but it uses a little bit of new sauce. And it is a Western applicable list, so it's not using any EBO3. So if you want to try it out, if you want to see what it is, let me know down below. I don't really like doing videos of leaders back to back. So if you have any other lists you'd like me to check out, let me know as well with that. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe, like I said. Check out that giveaway in the description. I'm really trying for it to kind of pop off. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.